Hey, welcome back. Now is the time when we are going to look at outcomes and how to set goals, and also I am going to explain to you a coaching structure. It can happen that a lot of you might be in leadership roles, maybe even a parent, and some of you might be aspiring coaches. So what I'm going to do is, for all of you, there is a very simple structure which you can follow so that you can coach people better and you can help your clients to reach a breakthrough and a comprehensive breakthrough. Well, the structure of coaching is GROW model, GROW. Of course, it has a full form. And so G is naturally goals. R is the reality factor, the current reality. So when people come and tell you their problems, they are actually telling you their current reality, right? And O is options. So options are what all options does the client have to reach from the current reality to their goals. And W is once the client selects an appropriate option of reaching from the current reality to the goal, then W is what next. So let's say you selected an option. So what is the first thing you will do? What is the second thing you will do? What's the third thing you will do? So this is the structure of the coaching. This is the structure of GROW model, which will help you coach the other person better. I'll give you an example, a very simple example. Let's say I want to go from, let's say, Bombay to Delhi. Okay. So, and I'm currently in Bombay. So that's my current reality. My goal is to reach Delhi. So what are the options that I have? Now, options that I have are, go by flight, go by car, go by train. Maybe if I'm Milind Soman, then I will run from Bombay to Delhi. Well, these are various options that we have. Now, which is the best option that I can choose? Maybe I'll choose a flight. So what is the first? So W, what next is, what is the first thing I'll do? So I'll go on one of the websites, one of the travel websites, book a ticket for myself on the appropriate day, appropriate time. That's the first step. Once I book the ticket, second step is I reach the airport. Third is I go through the security check, and then obviously I take the flight and I reach Delhi. Of course, nowadays you need to have the RT-PCR report. That's also one of the things that needs to happen. So this is entirely GROW model. I gave you a very simple example. But when you start coaching people, first of all, listen to their reality. Listen to what actually they are assuming, the mental blocks, the limiting beliefs. Listen to all of that. Listen to their generalizations, deletions, distortions. Okay, and you're also making notes. First couple of sessions in coaching are called no coach sessions, where you're just listening to the client and making your notes. You're just mentioning in your notes what are the generalization, deletions, distortions, and assumptions. Remember this word assumptions and all this that I just mentioned when we do linguistics, because linguistics part in NLP is really going to help you to understand the client's model of the world. Yes? Now, once you understand the current reality, then there's a very simple question that you ask the client, that this is your current reality. So what do you want to achieve? And how do you see me in that role? Me as in the coach in that role. So the client is going to tell you the goals. Okay, now sometimes you will get some clients who might just say to you, and by the way, when I say client, it doesn't have to be always a commercial client. The client can be your friend. A client can be your child, maybe your spouse, maybe anybody in your friend's circle or maybe in your relatives' circle. So basically, when they come up with this reality, all we have to do is take them through the GROW model and help them achieve their breakthroughs. So the first thing is obviously goals. Now, how do we set goals? Sometimes you know what happens. Sometimes you will get a lot of people coming and saying to you that I feel lost. I don't know what's happening with my life. My life is going okay, but I need to make it better. Now that's where your job as a coach is quite difficult, I may say that. But then I'm going to make it very easy for you in this particular module. Now, first of all, when working with people, if you come across people who have problems with decisions, or they seem aimless, or let's say they generally feel unhappy, or often sad or depressed, or maybe sometimes argumentative. And so basically the problem could be that they don't have goals in their life. That could be possible. Yes. So whenever you come across such people, you know what is the first thing that you need to do. Before pushing them towards the solution end, like we did in the earlier video, we ask them what you want to achieve, right? So the module that I'm going to discuss with you now is going to help you set goals in all areas of life. There's no doubt about it. Okay. Now, if you look at your screens, you will find this certain circle which you can see on the screen now. Looks like Rashi Chakra, but actually it is not. This is called the wheel of life, and this is your wheel of life. In fact, as I'm speaking, think about various areas of your life and then correlate them with the areas that are mentioned on this circle, on the circumference. Look at all these areas. You will find that important areas of your life correlate very well with whatever is given in the wheel of life. So, money, work, learning, growth, physical well-being and health, love, relationships, helping others, fun and enjoyment, and spiritual fulfillment, etc. Now, these are various important areas of your life, aren't they? Well, now when you look at this wheel of life, what I am going to describe now is how do you understand and how do you get a true reflection of where your life is currently. All these sectors that you are seeing in the wheel of life, you are going to make a note in all these sectors with respect to what is your satisfaction in all those sectors. You are going to give yourself a satisfaction rating in all these sectors. Like for example, let me first tell you how this wheel of life is constructed. Now, do you see the innermost circle in the wheel of life? Innermost circle, that's a 0 circle. The outermost circle in the wheel of life is the 10 circle. Somewhere in the middle, you will also find a 5 circle. And in all those dotted circles that you see, those are 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 6, 7, 8, 9. So, you will see that there are concentric circles in this wheel of life from 0 to 10. It's very easy to understand. So, what are these circles all about? This will correlate with the satisfaction that you have about that area of life. I'll give you an example. So, 0 means you are totally dissatisfied with that area of life, and 10 means that you are extremely happy, delighted with that area of life. Let me give an example of physical well-being and health. That's a simple one. So, physical well-being and health, if I give you my example. So, yes, you must have realized by now a little bit that I am slightly overweight. But then I can play tennis for 2 hours in the morning. In fact, I do. I am able to play 50 over cricket matches over the weekend, and I am totally fit at the end of the day. Of course, I can't climb Mount Everest, but really I don't want to climb. But then you see, and then I'm a little bit overweight. So, I might give myself a rating as maybe 5 or 6 in the sector of physical well-being and health. So, what I do is in that sector of physical well-being and health, I mark a dot on the 6th circle. Yes, on the 6th circle. Likewise, I will mark the dots in all the sectors depending on how satisfied I am currently in my life. Let's take money for example. I think I'm pretty happy with how much money I'm making. Okay. Now, of course, you know something about money. Money is never enough. So, maybe I'll give myself a rating at 7 over there in that sector. The work part, I'm extremely happy with the work that I'm doing. So, maybe I'll give a 9 over there, or maybe even a 10. Okay. But again, I'll give a 9 because there's always scope of improvement. Spiritual well-being and health. For a lot of people, spiritual well-being and health is not very clear. So, let me explain that to you. Spiritual well-being and health is, how sorted you are if certain things go right or certain things go wrong in your life. So, and really for me, it is not so much related to religion, but that doesn't mean that you don't have to look at it that way, or so you can look at spiritual well-being and health from the religion perspective, or in general how sorted you are in your head, helping others. And then you have relationships, all this. So give yourself a satisfaction rating by marking dots on various circles in all the sectors. Finally, what you do is you join these dots together, okay, and see what shape you get. Well, some people might get a shape which cannot be defined. In fact, most of you will get a shape which cannot be defined. It will probably be a shape of an amoeba. Why is it like that? Well, ideally you should get a circle. Why should you get a circle? Because there should be balance in all areas of life. You know, they talk about work-life balance. That's what this is all about. But then we don't get a circle because there is no overall balance in life. Why is it like that? Because sometimes we tend to focus so much on work and earning money, and sometimes we tend to neglect relationships. Sometimes we tend to neglect our physical well-being and health. That's where, you know, the rating goes down over there. So now imagine the vehicle that you drive. Okay, the wheel of that vehicle is round. Yeah. So take out that wheel and imagine that you are putting a wheel in its place which has a shape which you've got. So that amoeba shaped wheel, if you put it to your scooter or motorcycle or to your car, and if you try to ride the car or ride the scooter, you will realize that it is going to be a bumpy ride. Doesn't that happen with our lives? Our lives are not perfect, you know, definitely not. So in such a case, if we want our life to be smooth, there has to be proper balance in all areas of life. Well, idea is to get a 5 circle, then a 6 circle, then a 7 circle, then an 8 circle, 9 circle. Finally, when you get a 10 circle, then we will call you God. Okay, so it's a process, right? So once you've got all the areas marked over there on the satisfaction area and you get a shape, what you do is you will set goals in all those areas of life where you've rated yourself the least. Idea is to get those dots further up so that you are working towards getting a circle. Don't get the dot which is already up, don't get it down in order to have a circle, because then otherwise some people might just go to their HR and tell that please reduce my salary, I would like to have some balance in my life. Well, that's not how it is. Okay. So how do we set goals? Well, there is a very simple way of setting goals, and that is through SMART goals. I'm sure you've heard of SMART goals. For those who've not heard SMART goals, I'll just describe that to you. And NLP adds its own thing in SMART goals. So S is specific and it is also simple. You should be able to explain your goal in a very simple way in one sentence. Very important. M is measurable. So I want to reduce my weight by further 10 kilos, let's say. So it's measurable, right? So your goals should be measurable. Secondly, it should be meaningful to you. Now sometimes I have seen so many people who get married because their parents want them to get married. Now I understand that parents are an important part of your ecology, are an important part of your life. But you see, one experience is that if you do something against your will, okay, generally it does not work out to be very well. So is the goal meaningful to you? Think about it. So measurable, meaningful. Then comes A, that is achievable. Is the goal achievable? Sometimes, you know, we'll find people are too ambitious. They've not, you know, contested any election in school days or college days, but then they want to be presidents, they want to be prime ministers. And you know, you've seen in a lot of countries, a lot of people aspire to be, and sometimes it's not achievable. Well, so check your goal for the achievability quotient. And then you have something called as if now. Now this is very important. Now you've set a goal, let's say, for yourself. Imagine as if now you have achieved that goal. How is your life going to be different? Is your life going to be better, much better? Is that goal going to affect any other area of life adversely? Check for that. Like for example, if you have a goal of settling abroad, yeah, um, well, it's a legitimate goal, and but then, like I said earlier, if your family is not going to be happy about it, and if your family is an important part of your ecology, then you might just find a little bit of conflict over there. Maybe you may have to work around that goal a little bit, tweak the goal a little bit. Okay, and then comes R, that is realistic. Is the goal realistic? Is it responsible? And is it ecological? Ecology part I've already explained to you. So, in the process of achieving the goal, is it going to hurt any other area of life which is important for you? That is the ecology part. T, T is timed. By when do you want to achieve this goal? Do you know that why so many New Year resolutions fail? Because those New Year resolutions are made at night, 12 o'clock on 31st of December or almost 1st of January, and people forget the time part by when they want to achieve that goal. Well, the goal should always be timed. By when do you want to achieve it? Important thing in this, that goal should always be towards what you want, not away from. So, I don't want this cannot be a goal. The goal is always positive. I want to achieve this, I want to achieve that. I want to learn this, I want to grow in this way. I want to be promoted to this level. The difference between towards and away from is that when you're crossing the road, the towards goal is to reach the other side. The away from goal is not get hit by any vehicle. So, somebody with towards motivation built an aircraft. Somebody with away from motivation built a parachute. It's like that. Okay. So, goals always should be towards, it should be positive. Another important thing, by the way, goals cannot be a state, an emotional state. I want to be happy in my life. Well, that cannot be the case, because, well, you can be happy now. If you were to ask me, just play some 90s Bollywood song just now and I'll be happy, I'm done. I've achieved that goal. So, the goals cannot be an emotional state, right? So, this is how you set goals in various areas of your life on that wheel of life and get a circle so that there is balance in life. There is another way of, setting goals, and that is create goals, which is kind of similar to SMART goals. So, C is concise, R is realistic, E is ecological. All this I have already explained to you. A is as if now, T is timed, by when do you want to achieve it. E is end step. How do you know that you have achieved that goal? How do you know that you are NLP practitioners? Well, knowledge is the end step. You know that you are NLP practitioners. Well, with this, there is something called as well-formed outcomes, which means you are going to check for various things when you are setting goals and when you set out to achieve them. First of all, goals should be positively stated towards what you want. Be specific. There should be evidence that you achieved the goal. The goal should be congruently desirable, means all areas of life would want you to achieve that goal. Ecological. Self-initiated and maintained. Now, this is important. Let's say some of you want to start off your own business. Obviously, you are going to rely on other people, okay, for certain things. You are going to maybe rely on some banks so that they give you some loan. But you should always have a plan B and plan C. What if certain things don't work out the way you want them to work out? This coronavirus pandemic is a classic example of that. So many people would have wanted to, or rather would have started business in 2019 and the pandemic hit. Do you have a plan B, plan C? So, hence self-initiated and maintained. And what resources do you need to achieve those goals? Now, these resources could be internal resources, which means you need to learn something, or these resources could be that you may need some man and machine resources around you. Yeah. So, with this, if you set goals in this way for yourself or for your clients, okay, generally it is quite systematic. Now, another thing, I will explain to you another concept called something called as dilemma statement. Once you have encoded your goal in the form of SMART goals, okay, the next step is the dilemma statement. You write your goal. So, I want to achieve this. Now, this means the SMART goal. I want to achieve this, and what is stopping me is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Simple example. I want to reduce my weight by 10 kilos by, let's say, December 2021. Okay. And what is stopping me is procrastination, laziness, overeating, not exercising. All these things are, what are stopping you. I'll tell you why this dilemma statement is important. Because now you know clearly for yourself or for your client what is exactly coming in the way, and hence you can run various interventions so that these things go out of the way. I'm sure you have understood the outcome part very well, how to set goals. You understood the grow model, what is the structure of coaching, and you will be able to encode your goals in the form of smart goals or create goals and have well formed outcomes. In the next video, I'm going to explain to you what are neurological levels of NLP which are used for problem solving. Because once you set goals, the next thing that comes up is, these are the problems. So how do we solve problems? So we are going to learn that in the next video.